This is KVUE News Daybreak.
An ambush on the Diamond. A lone gunman attacks Republican lawmakers on a baseball field. How the tragedy is bringing people together and what we're learning about the shooting.
And President Trump now the focus of the Russian investigation. The new information we're learning about that case.
On edge, a local resident's home vandalized multiple times, dating all the way back to November. But the one thing that happened recently that he says pushed him over the edge. Good Thursday morning, and thank you for watching KVUE News Daybreak at 5 a.m. I'm Yvonne Nava.
And I'm Brandon Jones in for Brian Mays. It is Thursday, June 15th.
All right, we have some new information from overnight. A bicyclist is in the hospital this morning with life-threatening injuries after a crash near downtown Austin. It happened just before 1 near North Lamar and 6th Street. Police say two vehicles, a white van and a black car, collided in the intersection, crashing into a bicyclist headed southbound on Lamar. The driver of the black car has been arrested for a DWI. Police say no one in the cars were taken to the hospital. The road is still closed right now while crews investigate. So let's check in with Anavid Reyes for a look at what that means this morning for commuters in that area.
Absolutely. Thank you, Yvonne. Well, if you're heading out the door this morning, just watch out for that closure. You are experiencing some slower traffic. You're driving at about 12 miles per hour in that area. So I would suggest for you to use West 5th Street as your alternate route at this time. I'll update you on further alternate route options as the day progresses. All right, let's turn it over to Erica Lopez for a look at weather.
Well, another warm and sticky start to our morning. We have lots of low-level clouds. You're waking up to a mostly cloudy start to the day here in central Texas. Here's how today is going to play out. Mostly cloudy day, but some of those clouds should burn off this afternoon to a mainly sunny afternoon. By about lunchtime, you'll see those clouds begin to break apart, but that's also going to allow our temperatures to make it into the mid to upper 90s today. Still a calm south wind anywhere from 5 to 10 miles an hour. So with the humidity and the heat, here's a look at what it's going to feel like this afternoon. 104 degrees for your feel like temperature, which is the heat index value that we're expecting. Another warm and muggy overnight. Conditions tonight, 76 degrees, partly cloudy, mild and humid. Guys, back to you.
All right, thank you so much. Now to the latest in that congressional ambush just outside of Washington, D.C. One Republican lawmaker still in critical condition after being shot by a gunman who opened fire on him and a group of GOP lawmakers at a baseball practice in Virginia. ABC's Stephanie Ramos is in Alexandria, where the shooter opened fire on the congressional baseball team.
A blaze of gunshots fired at Republican congressmen at a baseball diamond, just 8 miles from Capitol Hill in Alexandria, Virginia. The gunshots erupted at 7 a.m. Wednesday morning. 26 Republican members of Congress practicing for their annual charity baseball game against Democrats, some seeking refuge in the dugout.
There's also a victim down in the baseball field.
That victim, Congressman Steve Scalise of Louisiana, with a rifle shot to the left hip, medevaced off the field. The House Majority Whip's Capitol Police security detail, 2 agents firing back at the shooter from behind an SUV, according to witnesses. Both officers injured. Within minutes, local police joining in the gun battle. The shooter, 66-year-old James Hodgkinson, is down at 7-14. The unemployed Illinois man had reportedly been in the Washington area for a couple of months, living out of his van, and had a long and public history of anti-Trump and anti-Republican rhetoric.
There was an individual, middle-aged Caucasian male, that asked us, hey, is that Republicans, Democrats, what? And we're like Republicans. And then he kind of turned and went towards the field.
Unclear if that was Hodgkinson asking the question, but he is now dead. In all, 4 shot. The congressman, one of the Capitol Police officers, a staffer, and lobbyists. 2 others injured. Overnight, President Trump and the First Lady met with doctors at the hospital treating Representative Scalise and the Capitol Hill police officer.
It wasn't just the field here hit with gunfire, car windows, local businesses, the local YMCA down the street, their windows shattered by bullets. As for the game that lawmakers were practicing for, that charity game is still on for tonight at Nationals Park. Stephanie Ramos, ABC News, Alexandria, Virginia.
And one of the victims, Zach Barth, an aide to Congressman Roger Williams from North Texas, is a former University of Texas student. One of his former professors, Sean Theraut, is wishing Barth a speedy recovery this morning.
I hope that he uses this tragedy as a way to double down his interest in politics and helping us move our country along rather than extinguish the passion that he has for it.
Bart's family lives in Houston, but when he was shot, his younger sister says their father rushed to help.
My brother and my dad are extremely close, so whenever my brother said, "Dad, I really want you here," my dad booked a ticket that moment and was on a plane to D.C.
Now, Barth got out of the hospital last night, and his family says he is doing well this morning.
That's good to hear. Well, a special counsel investigating Russian interference in the 2016 election is reportedly now looking into whether President Trump tried to obstruct justice. Sources tell the Washington Post that Robert Mueller is planning to interview the director of national intelligence and the head of the NSA, following reports that the president had asked them to intervene in the Russian probe. President Trump has continued to deny any connection to the 2016 election meddling. Meanwhile, the reward for information leading to the arrest of 2 Georgia inmates is growing. The reward is now at $115,000 to find Donnie Rowe and Ricky Dubose. You're looking at pictures of them here. The inmates killed 2 Georgia correctional officers and escaped from a prison bus. This was early Tuesday. Authorities say the convicted criminals have been cellmates more than once and may have planned the escape together.
Well, this morning, investigators are asking for your help with a 41-year-old cold case. Investigators with the Greece Police Department in New York are trying to identify a child found in 1976. Now, this is what the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children believe that child may have looked like. They say they found his body inside a storage trunk in New York, but they believe the child spent the last years of his life somewhere in the southeastern part of the United States.
Well, police are searching for the person who spray painted a pink swastika onto a couple's car this week. The South Austin man says he's more annoyed than nervous, but his wife was really upset by the symbol. He believes the swastika might have something to do with the sign on his property.
It might have something to do with my anti-Trump sign, that people kept stealing them. And I'd move them higher and they'd steal them again. When they kept stealing my signs, I wrote some sort of a note that that's kind of a Nazi thing to do. And next thing I know, I get a Nazi sign.
Austin police are also investigating a similar report nearby. They aren't sure if the two are related. If you have information about the case, please call police.
Well, still no decision this morning on how much money the Austin School Board members will ask taxpayers this November. The board did not approve a bond package last night. However, they did decide which projects should be included, like rebuilding several new schools and investing in more programs. They did come out of last night's meeting with a ballpark number ranging from $946 million to just over $1 billion. The board is supposed to have a confirmed plan before Monday.
All right, 5:07 is your time. Happening today, the decades-long juvenile curfew that allows police to ticket and sometimes arrest minors who are found out late at night could come to an end. Jay Wallace is in the newsroom to explain why this ordinance could go away. Jay, good morning.
Good morning, Yvonne. Well, every 3 years, the City Council votes to reauthorize or repeal this 27-year-old curfew. It lets cops ticket minors caught out late at night or during school hours. And today, we are at that 3-year mark, with growing support to end the ordinance building in recent weeks, with one of the strongest voices coming from Councilmember Greg Casar, bringing up that Latinos and blacks receive the bulk of these citations. He says he wants to focus on building up these kids through positive reinforcement, through programs and involvement, rather than police interaction. He also sees this curfew created in 1990. It came from a different time period with different crime in Austin, and now it is outdated.
In the 90s and the 80s, our governments worked on things to try to make us safer. And some of them worked, but some of them didn't. And I think we've learned since the 90s that we have over-relied on arrest and incarceration, and that has made us less safe, even though the intentions was to make us more safe.
And Casar also brings up the fact he would like to see the Austin police officers focus their efforts and use their time on other issues than this, as well as keeping these types of offenses out of the courtrooms as well. And also today, worth mentioning, the City Council will consider a new policy that will require new business moving into the area to be responsible for dealing with loud concerts and loud noise. Live in the newsroom, Jay Wallace, KVUE News.
All right, thank you so much, Dave. We're doing the hot Texas summer. Meals on Wheels volunteers are delivering more than just lunches. They're also preparing safety checks for thousands of senior citizens. Older adults are more likely to get heat-related illnesses, and sometimes they just can't afford the high utility bills during the summer months. Meals on Wheels is trying to help. Volunteers have been making sure their clients are able to stay cool and hydrated. Meanwhile, we're probably going to need to stay cool and hydrated because it's going to be another hot day, Erica.
That's right. Temperatures remain above average here in central Texas. Starting this morning, we're in the 70s, but normally we should be at about 72 degrees to kick off the day. No, we're in the mid to upper 70s. Right now it's about 77 degrees in Austin. Here's how today is going to play out. A mostly cloudy start to our day because the low level moisture continues to dominate our region. But this afternoon, those clouds should burn off to a mostly sunny afternoon. But with that mostly sunny afternoon, that's only going to allow our highs to be in the mid to upper 90s this afternoon. Here's what we're forecasting for your daytime high in Austin, 96 degrees. That's going to mean that your feel-like temperature this afternoon, your heat index value, 104 degrees. Another sticky evening in store with the moisture that will be hanging around our viewing area, 76 for your overnight temperatures. And a quick sneak peek to this Father's Day weekend. These are your forecasted highs, but factor in the humidity. That's what it's going to feel like out there. Saturday, a toasty 105-degree heat index value. Back to you.
A blue ribbon for Dad on Sunday, and I guess a blue ribbon for the heat throughout every day, I'm sure. Okay, this morning it's 5:10. A Pflugerville resident got a huge scare this week after a snake slithered into her swimming pool. I saw this video and I cringed. She says she was relaxing, working on her phone, when out of nowhere she heard a plop sound. Moments later, she saw a very large snake right next to her. She says she scrambled out of the pool and the snake slid into some nearby shrubbery. A local reptile expert thinks it was a rat snake, but says it's hard to be sure. He does say snakes like to swim in cool waters in the summer, so make sure to look twice before taking a dip.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Oh my!
The fear of snakes.
I know. I mean, I understand they want to keep cool, but go to another pool. Don't go to my pool.
Exactly. And then our producer was saying that she'd never heard of a rat snake before.
Oh yes, yeah.
They're common. Right?
Yeah, my son studies all of those, so yeah, those are pretty common.
Well, a daredevil trying to break a record set by her husband.
All right, we're going to have that story coming up. Yes, the stunt she'll perform today over Niagara Falls involving her teeth.
Yeah, and officials are still searching for those inside that charred high-rise apartment building in London here. The new video we're seeing as the building went up in flames.